Hi! Welcome to our secret bonus panel of the 2026 Console Room Chibnall-Era Deep Dive. And this one is about the specials and extended universe surrounding the 13th Doctor era. We're actually recording this panel after the convention just because we love Console Room so much and love talking about 13 era so much in Doctor Who in general. I know I love nothing more than geeking out about 13. Because I have to mention them, I don't have to, but I will. In case you missed them, our panels for series 11, 12, and 13 should be available for you to watch on YouTube. I know, we pre-recorded and I was still having trouble, picking what to go to because there's so many things going on all the time at cons. So I'm really glad that we have those recorded, ready to revisit everything. We are going to go around with some introductions in case you're watching these out of order. So I'm Charlie. My pronouns are they, them. My username or handle on social media is SheRegenerated13 in most places. I'm an artist, cosplayer, writer, etc. This is my second year as a panelist, and probably my favorite thing about Console Room in general is it's a hybrid convention. It takes place both in person in Minnesota and also on Discord, which makes it a lot more accessible. And it's a 501c3 put on by fans for fans. And I just love that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and pass along to Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. I use she, her pronouns. I am an artist, writer, designer, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of different things. Ultimately, all storytelling, though, just across a variety of mediums. I was on a bajillion panels at Console Room, largely in person, so you're probably sick of hearing from me by now. But I love it. Hopefully, those are all good for all of you. And also, just so like a Console Room is, I've been every year to Console Room. It has a very special place in my heart. I was on the Concom for 10 years as well. I love it so much. And I am so glad that we were continuing to be hybrid now because I feel like it was giving a lot of opportunities for people to be involved. Um, regardless of like where they were able to be or felt comfortable being
Mhm.
at the time. And I loved that. And I do want to give it, I don't think it was recorded. I do want to give a shout out at con as well. We did a D&D one shot for I don't remember which night it was now. But we did like a Doctor Who one shot game, and it was so much fun. I really don't think it's recorded. I'm gonna have to draw a picture if you ever follow on social media. I'm Raden Studios on social media. I really want to draw a picture and put it up there because we had a Yeti named Salt. That was our best buddy, and tard not quite a TARDIS, but like a capsule. I mean a TARDIS, but not like the blue box. It was like the standard, whatever, plain capsule thing. Like you would have might have seen more in like the classic Who that we named Pepper. So Salt and Pepper are gonna live on in my heart forever from this
Oh.
year. Um, I really need to draw a picture of that. And there was so many really great moments. But I really wanted to like shout out like extra kudos that we're continuing to do hybrid. That's amazing. Sorry, I'll pick somebody. Katherine Sullivan, how about you?
I'm Katherine Sullivan. I tend to write essays in things like Outside In Regenerate, which Amber's in also,
Mhm.
and Children of Time, the companion to Doctor Who. Uh, I wasn't able to attend all the guest of honor interviews, but Joe Martin's and Wendy Padbury's interviews were so good.
Mhm.
Um, and basically just seeing them around the con, they are so nice. And Katherine?
Yeah, other Catherine. Hello. My name is Catherine. I have been going since 2022. Basically since I fell back in. I was always a fan of Doctor Who, but then I fell back in love during lockdown. And probably trying to think what would be my favorite thing. Um, about this year's console room. Was actually getting to making new friends. I always love getting to see existing friends and make new friends, but actually getting to meet someone who happens to be in the same Doctor Who Discord server that I'm in, as in we were both in it, and then we met at con and then mentioned some similar fandom names and realized it, which for the size of a con and for a server that has like 200 people listed as members, but like maybe 30 active, was a heck of a coincidence. So that was kind of my favorite part, actually, and also that they also live in the same city. So that was my favorite thing this con. But yeah, you guys all had awesome things listed too.
Yeah, I know like a lot of us already talked about it, but I'm gonna add like one more thing since we had that question, what was our favorite thing from this year's console room? And I wanted to add like for this year specifically, I finally got to attend like a Joe Martin panel because I met her before and I'd like talked with her online and like in person at cons, but like I never actually got to go to a panel. And I got to go to two thanks to our hybrid status at console room. So that was awesome to finally get around to that. So if everyone's ready, we can start talking about the specials. To start us off, I wanted to give recognition to Chibnall and the team for working under difficult conditions. And we've already talked about Flux in our Series 13, but that was produced under difficult conditions as well. But the specials also dealing with COVID and everything. And COVID's still circulating and it's a danger to many of us, especially though like restrictions have lessened and like, you know, we've all kind of adjusted in some ways. But I also dug up Doctor Who magazine number 577 and read, because I've tried to do my research for this.
And who's counting?
Who's counting? 577. I've read a lot about Doctor Who. They weren't even sure that they'd get to make Eva the Daleks, and Chibnall had to write the episode in a week because otherwise they'd have lost the episode. And then in yet another Doctor Who magazine, 576, there's a quote like, "For all sorts of reasons, we had to make the New Year's Day special Eva the Daleks like really self-contained. The time loop story helped us make that, and essentially a one set production, and if we hadn't done that it might not have existed, so it's like really touch and go." But yeah, there's like I've been rereading things I wrote from that time when this episode came out and everything, and it was just like a storm. There was so much going on. So I'm gonna open up if anyone wants to go first. I see a hand.
Can we go back? You said he had to write it in a week or it wouldn't have happened. Do you have context around? I hadn't heard that before, and I'm just like, that is such.
I have heard that as well, and I don't know if Charlie, do you know the specific reason or like why it was a week?
Can pull up the Doctor Who magazine, but that's why I provide the sources, so folks can look it up too. But I didn't write anything else. I just wrote that like in 577, Chibnall said that they weren't sure they were going to get to make it. And I'm guessing that's because of all the like COVID stuff and things like that.
Logistical. It sounded like there was like, it was going to be something with a budget where they're like, we can't have a special. And he's like, what if I make it cost like $3? As far as if we get
two additional actors,
and
we put everyone in one building.
It's in a warehouse, an empty warehouse. Yes. There we go.
$3 TV dollars.
Yeah. Basically, I think I don't know. My guess is that it was because just it had to be written in a week in a way that basically here's a plan, here's the budget, and then the BBC would be like, fine.
Sure.
That's my guess. Yeah.
I'm even more impressed now because this is one of my favorite specials. I rewatched it over and over again just to figure out all the different time loops. And it's so well plotted out. And finding all the jokes and the humor and the lines, like it's not like saying, "I am not Nick." When you know that Nick Briggs usually does the voice, you got one of the operators is a Nick, and it's like, okay, have that line in there. It was just this is one I've watched many times. I've lost count because I just wanted to follow the flow of the time loop, And I just, okay, it was really shocking to have the doctor killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Death was just, oh my gosh, they
like
actually
this.
killed the doctor. And then she comes back. It was just,
I
I
love
love
time
it.
loops. I love time loops, and I think yes, it was so well done. Like it was yeah, I think this really showed Chibnall's skill with humor. I feel like this episode, even though I guess it sounds like it's really dark, they keep getting killed by Daleks, but there's a lot of very good bits and lines and moments in here. Very quotable, I would say.
Can I call out? So there's this thing I think in the previous three panels that we've been talking about Chibnall-Era Who, I feel like one of the things that's come up sometimes is that like he, or maybe often, I know I've brought it up a lot, is that I feel like one of the things that I notice a lot in a lot of Chibnall-Era Who is that there's a lot of stuff, and I just wish they would kind of pare it back a little bit.
Mhm.
Which is not an issue I feel like here, because
Mhm.
Katherine, to your point, I feel like they had some like it was plotted, I think, pretty well. And it makes me wonder, because we talked with like the Flux, how they had to like crunch everything down really quickly, and it
Mhm.
gets a little chaotic and it gets like a little all over the place. Um, and I and I feel like it was maybe already too chaotic, and then they had to crunch it down, and then it was more chaotic.
Mhm.
If that's sort of like I mean, obviously a lot of filming issues and things that contributed to that. That must be really complicated to navigate as well, I'm sure. But I there's a lesson that I learned years ago, when I was in college still. The short version, I'm not gonna give you the whole story because we only have so much time on this panel. But it was basically like when we have a lot of time, we tend to overthink as creatives, and we'll make it like more
Mhm.
complicated because we have the time to do that. And sometimes, obviously it's not a universal rule. There's always exceptions, but sometimes like if that time is crunched, we don't have the opportunity to make it overly complicated because you have to hit just like the main points. And sometimes that's better. And I think, especially if this was created in that short amount of time, that is maybe a good example of that kind of like concept at play. Like there wasn't enough time to kind of bulk it out. You had to kind of
Mhm.
stick to the point very quickly. And I didn't find this one, because it is really contained. It's all in like one space. I didn't find it difficult to follow either, even with
Mhm.
all that, because I know sometimes when you get like the time jumping, it gets like bonkers and then everything's just everywhere and it's just
Mhm.
confusing. I didn't find this one particularly confusing to follow either. Like they
Mhm.
show you every single time it resets. Um,
Yeah.
with the character's name, Sarah, like looking at her phone, uh,
Mhm.
like every single time. So they kind of like ground you every time, and it's got like all the things I feel like you need to be able to kind of like follow logically without getting like lost in the sauce, so to speak. So, um, it's interesting because it is one of my I feel hit and miss a lot on a lot of the holiday episodes because some of them feel like a little too goofy for me is usually where I get kind of lost.
Mm.
This one's solid though. This one is one of my it doesn't beat Twice Upon a Time for me because that's my all-time favorite, but it's probably
Mm.
second for me. And nice kind of just getting like another New Year's. Like I do like the other holiday specials too, but having like a New Year's one, being able to like welcome the year with Doctor Who, that was really nice.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'll get off my soapbox. And then
No, I agree. No, I really like it. Also, again, I need to praise Chibnall's ability to write scary Daleks. Like,
yeah.
I feel like he uses them tastefully, basically just in the specials. And he was really good at making them seem scary again in a way that wasn't necessarily as over the top, like I feel like other parts of New Who have done and can do. Yeah, because this one is like, yep, you remember Daleks can like kill people really easily. And here's the doctor several times. Um, I haven't rewatched this episode in a while. That's just something that I still remember from this specific one. It's like, yep, he did it. He did it again. Good job.
Mhm. It's a nice mix because they're both, I think, right at the beginning when they show up and then the doctor, like, well, everybody like dies and um like that's a big moment. But then they also had like the silly points when the Daleks are kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And it's a nice mix of sort of like serious and like levity. I think caught in this one. It's a good episode.
Charlie?
All right. Are we
Yeah.
ready for Thasmin?
Oh no, I want
Yes.
to.
Let it
Yeah.
letting
ahead.
everyone talk about everything else while my brain is
Yeah.
in the one place. Okay,
Well, I mean,
so
it's a decent part of the episode, like plot-wise. It's a
it's kind of like Legend of the Sea Devil is like the heart of it. But yeah, so I've been like I did a deep dive back like a time capsule style, just reading all these reactions. This is back when like Twitter was still twittering and um but like seeing all the reactions from Yaz's coming out scene from all these different people who saw themselves in her and representation and everything. And I have a couple of them pulled up. Too many fandoms said, like, as someone who's waited 20 plus years for a South Asian woman who's a main character in a show that's important to me to come out as queer, I literally will never shut up about this. I understand Doctor Who has had queer companions before, and I'm so grateful for that. But the fact that I and many others can quite literally see myself or themselves in Yaz after waiting 2 decades for this type of representation, I am over the moon. And the line, "It's not that easy," hits hard. Safe space who said hits hard knowing Yaz comes from South Asian heritage where it's extremely hard to come out and express who you are, and it's something that isn't being spoken about enough, and I'm glad the scene was so real and genuine and from the heart. And there are just so many things like that coming out, and even like Mandip didn't know like the depth of like how much it was going to affect everyone. And I'm so glad that she gets to know that now. And I'm so glad that everyone has like this representation out there for them. And I even found like something I wrote, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, um, but I talked a bit about like Yaz and 13's arcs and everything as well. Talking about how Yaz struggled with mental health, bullying, self-worth, identity, orientation, relationships, and has come to love and accept herself as we near the end of her arc. We went from baby gay panic in series 11 when her mother sent something between her and the doctor to comparing her relationship with 13 to the like pining with Claire and Lord Byron to finally admitting to herself how she feels. And to me, that is beautiful. And before this, I was rereading and I was just like trying not to cry and I was fully not paying attention to our little like catch up chat. I was just like, keep it together. um, then, and then we also have like 13 who's struggling with her own identity and her arc. And by the end of Flux, she comes to choose who she is now over who she was before. And now that her time's nearly up and her line she said to Ryan comes to mind. I missed my time with you. And she's known that Yaz has been in love with her longer than Yaz has, or at least admitted to, and seems to not be admitting her own feelings to herself, much like Yaz. And the alternative is that she's admitted it to herself and has simply been denying the truth to others. I'm not sure which hurts more, to be honest. There are so many ways to interpret the Doctor, and I love them for it. And I also love like that so many different people had their own interpretations of Yaz's coming out scene too. And I just think like all of those are so beautiful and special. And that they resonate with different people's experiences and identities. And it's just like going back in time and seeing all this again. And it really was like such a special time. And I also think Tumblr tags were down or Tumblr was down or something when all this was happening. So it was just chaos. I found that mentioned in some of these, um, but yeah, it was just like, it was one of those things that you had to kind of experience. Um, and I'm like excited for people who get to experience this after the fact as well. But like it was one of those kind of momentous kind of things. Like I don't know. But I loved revisiting all of this. This has been amazing. And the like impact on people who this resonated with. And I also wrote that like Yaz is also the first Asian like main character in the show's history. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but like not just the first South Asian one, but like the first one of any Asian ethnicity, and for her to be queer is like super meaningful. Um, and then I had some queer South Asian voices. Um, I shared some of those, but yeah, this has been great to revisit. I'm loving this so much. Um, and the little blue heart earrings and the Mandip was gave a great performance. And they like mixed, I think they mixed 13 and Yaz's themes over that scene, if I'm not mistaken. Um, One of the resources I had saved here talks about that as well.
Which scene?
So yeah, Yaz and Dan, the beautiful, delicate little, you know, the the little Yaz coming out scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, that was so beautiful. And then he goes around and does like a 180 on 13 and is like, what are you doing?
Dan, I gotta say, Dan is the ultimate wingman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love his role is so unexpected in a way, but also I feel like works very well. Where he's like, okay, someone needs to say something to these idiots,
Yeah. I
or
wonder
nothing's
if
gonna
like
happen.
I remember Chibnall saying something about like he had um he had him in mind like for this specific role and like for some like specific purpose, and I like all I can think of is like he brought in this character Dan to like nudge them together, and that's I can't think of a greater purpose he served. Not complaining. I will complain a bit about uh like the element of this that is like Dan outing Yaz. I didn't like.
I don't know if I interpreted it like that. Really, I know that
Yeah,
was
there
like
are
some
different
discussion, but
interpretations.
I don't know. I guess I think of my husband as the token straight friend in my friend group. And I see Dan in that very much so. Like not
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
You
my
know, that's an interesting perspective, and like I totally get that. But I was everything you were saying about like Thasmin, and I was just like the one thing that I just rewatched it again today.
oh,
And
nice.
I think like when I saw like I am the doctor, I think in some ways in like my perception of Yaz's interest in a lot of this. And then when there's this moment where it's like quiet for a minute and Dan's just like, you know, she likes you, right? And she's like, yeah, I know. And he was like, no, I mean, like, she likes you. And he's got this like look on his face that's like every time I feel like you see two
Like
people who are just kind of like just starting to fall in love, and you're just like, it's so adorable. And like these people I like care about.
Yeah.
I like, and it was, I thought it was like such a heartwarming, like, he's like looking out for them and he's just like look at them being so cute, kind of trying to like figure out like I thought that was such a nice moment, and it was also for me to be like, oh yes, in fact I have been missing a lot leading up to this point, um which I feel like the doctor is kind of going through in that moment too, and she's like, wait a minute, hold on, rewind it back, and then you know, they get to have some more meaningful conversations. But I really liked that moment. I thought that was a really sweet moment. But yeah, I guess I don't I guess my hope would be that perhaps they all are close enough that it was less outing and more look at my two very good friends
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
point.
on a journey.
Yeah, that's one of the like, you know, people had different interpretations of everything. And then they're also like in the headcanon categories of like, you know, everyone's out on the TARDIS and things like that. And everything's like
Yeah.
super easy. Like there's so many different ways to look at it, and like none of them are like necessarily wrong or anything. But I do remember like that rubbed me the wrong way. Like to the point where I like made a post about it. And I was like, Dan, I love you for the Phasmin, but yeah, I just found it. I did not save it for this chat, which I totally should have, but I did find it, thankfully. But yeah, this is also reminding me of like when people were kind of we were under the impression we were getting like the adventures of the Doctor and Yaz, and then all of a sudden Dan joins and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm remembering that too. And we thought that we'd get like Yaz and 13 as the focus and like flourishing everything. And then like BBC posted that, or like they shared an article letting us know that it's really important we know he's an LGBTQ ally. It's really important. One of the top 10 things you must know.
I feel like I vaguely remember seeing that come out when that came out.
That was 10 things to know about new Doctor Who star John Bishop from like by Nick Levine, January 5th, 2021. Number 10 is he's also a staunch LGBTQ ally.
That's
and I'm
so
just like,
funny.
Everyone, it's okay. It's okay.
It's
okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to say as a queer woman that I feel like Yaz's little kind of mini coming out story was really impactful for me. I watched it with my brother and I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know if they were gonna end up going there or not, because again, it seemed more of a break from like romance being a big part of the TARDIS in this era. And so that, like, her saying, like, I haven't even admitted it to myself, I was like, oh, I feel seen. To be fair, I did not realize I was queer until embarrassingly late, and then I was like, Katherine, those were not straight girl thoughts. Which I'm happily with my husband now, so it's fine. And I already was with him at that time, so I was like, well, oops. But yeah, just like not even like, not necessarily like the repression of the way that like the 13th Doctor can be, but more so like not even realizing that's what was happening at the time. So that's also kind of my interpretation of it. And yeah, I guess I was kind of surprised, like I forgot that was even a take that Dan was outing, because in my brain it's like there's between outing and then like everyone knows but no one wants to admit it. Like when he was saying that, like I feel like the 13th Doctor had subconsciously like known that there were possible feelings, but I love my emotionally repressed girl so much, but she was not going to admit that until he was like, you are literally trapped with me right now. I'm gonna just kind of corner you, make you actually acknowledge something.
Part of the issue character-wise is like he's kind of encouraging her in this like really beautiful, delicate way. And like trying to create this like opening for her, like she deserves to confess to the Doctor and like talk to her and like have that agency in her relationships and everything. And then he kind of like turns around and takes the opportunity away from her right after, like, making her aware of it, kind of thing. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, no, I found the post and I said like the episode brought me to tears when Dan confronted Yaz about her feelings. Like whether people related to Yaz as a closeted person, someone who's fallen for their best friend, or for another reason, like the impact on viewers I talked about. But like you were saying, is it's kind of obvious, like Jack clocked her feelings immediately. To some people it's obvious. There were a lot of viewers who were like, is she talking about Ryan? I don't know, maybe not a lot of viewers, but some viewers who can type. I'm like, okay, I love Ryan, but he's not exactly enigmatic. But yeah, so that he was like all tender and tearful and like gentle with Yaz, and kind of gave her that final push to accept her feelings, and then goes and calls the Doctor out, like she's not aware of the crush. And she certainly doesn't act like she considers Yaz's feelings at this point, from his perspective, because he's basically Yaz's companion. That's
in a way,
that's
fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
He's more Yaz's companion than anything. And he's like, this is my friend, like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't know where the rest of my post is. This is my last minute trying to find things
Yeah.
thing, so I don't know where the rest of the post is. But part of the reason I made that post was just like I don't want people to think it's okay to do what he did. Like in this fiction world and stuff, like we're getting the plot to move forward and everything, and we're pushing things, and there's tension and whatever. But like, just so y'all know, like, don't do this IRL, please. Do not out your friends to each other, even if they're out as queer. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't appreciate it. And then the audacity to like not even tell her about it after. I was like, I didn't think that realistically there was going to be any kind of confrontation, but I was like, hope Yaz like tells Dan, like, don't do that. Don't mess with my stuff. I confided in you. I trusted you, kind of thing. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting that to happen in Doctor Who. But I really liked that we got like our a queer writer to write the next bit. And I love that. But yeah, part of me was just like the whole human monkey see monkey do thing. Like, don't don't do that. Don't do that.
I feel like that's a fair point, and I feel like there's a whole other panel, I feel like, about how characters, because I think this happens a lot in like rom-coms when people are like, y'all are not paying attention. Like, I think that happens all the time when people are like calling somebody out to be like, this person likes you, right? Are you not? It happens all the time. And I wonder, I don't know if that happens all the time in like real life. I guess I kind of, for like to your point, kind of hope it doesn't happen all the time in real life. And maybe you talk, I don't know. But it happens a lot in rom-coms. Um, but yeah, like that's complicated. And in some ways also not complicated. Like, probably should have had a conversation with Yaz first.
Maybe the confrontation's more dramatic, and that's why it's
yeah.
rom-coms, but not real life.
TV
There's always fanfiction writers and stuff. A lot of people learn a lot of stuff from fanfics, so we'll leave it to the fanfic writers.
Yeah.
Love you, we trust you. All right. Yeah, but kind of like we were talking about moving into Legend of the Sea Devils, that was also produced under COVID restrictions. And we did have a queer writer for that. And Thasmin was definitely the heart of it. Love that so much. And it had all my favorite elements basically in anything. It had like pirates and aliens and time travel and gay shit, but I was trying to think of another way to say that, but
more eloquent way. No,
what is an eloquent way? They can censor me. I don't care. But
the whole idea there's that one quote. That's the trouble with history. Never the same as the books. Same with Stephen King movies. Like, okay, we're getting modern day reference and history. The fact that never quite right.
Yeah, this episode I can proudly say, is one episode I was like, I really want the 13th Doctor to meet Madame Xing, the Pirate Queen. And then 2 calendar years later, it happened, and I was like, oh, and I did not know that. I do wish that it was a bit better, but...
So, I am like, pirates are like one of my favorite things ever. I love pirates. So like, when I knew that there was a pirate episode coming, I was like, gosh, I'm gonna knock everything off my desk. I was like so excited. I haven't seen, actually, I don't have any of you seen like the classic Who Sea Devils? Because I haven't actually seen
Yes.
Okay. 2 of you have?
The Doctor and the Master are very boyfriends in that specific serial.
It's okay.
It's very cute.
So, I don't know how the Sea Devils now compare to those ones, but what I was noticing was that it's interesting. I'm recalling from Console Room, I watched like the trial when they were, and one of the trial when they're like I think it was in defense of Kathy, you were on the panel in defense of Chibnall, no, of Shooties, but I think some of the
It was basically the 14th and 15th Doctor.
Okay, it was, yeah.
It was RTD too.
I got rid of
I missed that one. Yeah.
But I was thinking about it in this one because when you see the Sea Devil, I was like, oh, like, are you using, this is a prosthetic, right? Like, you've built a mask. And I found the article, like, they did, in fact, build like the prosthetics. That was practical effects. However, the blinking and stuff, not a practical effect. That is all CGI. And I think you can tell because you've got this like super cool prosthetic, and then it's like uncanny valley blinking and like breathing and stuff. Like it's odd. It's a weird mix.
Interesting.
And it bums me out because like I don't think I'd really noticed that. And then I was like, but when I was rewatching it, I was like, something's like a little bit off. And I don't know because this would have been really cool if all of that was practical effects and all of those like actual eyelids built in. I was like wanted to be really impressed with it, and it was just like a little bit wonky. And I feel like that was kind of an issue in this whole episode. I'm still gonna love it because it's pirates. My bar is very low because I really love pirates. And the Sea Devils like, as characters, like I thought were like so cool. I don't know if do you know that the actor who played like the chief Sea Devil, it was the same one that played Carvanista. Same person, but also
I did
like
not know that.
yeah, I just learned that today. But also like there was a guest at Console Room a couple years ago, Steve Ricks, he called in remotely. So he's a tailor and costumer based out of the UK. Beautiful work sewing, like does a lot of like replica costumes and stuff. Like he's tracked down like the actual fabric used in like some of like the custom things.
Wow.
And I think he made the coat in that episode, I think for the chief character. Sea Devil. I know he did some of the coat. I just can't remember if it was specifically that one, or some of the other ones. Which was just kind of like a cool thing. So like I love some of it, and some of it just I think ended up looking really silly. Because there was CGI added when like on top of like the practical effects. But like again, it's pirates.
That's
Like
fair. The funny thing, I'm like, let me tell you, the fake blinking was a lot better than just the rubber masks in Classic Who. So I guess for me, the bar was on the floor. I was like, yeah, this is really cool to see with a higher production value because their original episode is pretty campy in regards to that.
Yeah.
Not that I don't appreciate some camp, but yeah. This episode, I will say, this one is probably one of the most critical I am of Chibnall because I was really excited for this specific historical figure, and I feel like they didn't do a ton with her, but also they can't do too much with her because of real life history. Things are kind of weird, and
we had to get another male pirate to have her model after. It's like,
yeah. Also, it had the whole the 13th Doctor has someone sacrifice themselves, and that's not really explored. But I'm like, this could be really delicious, and like pointing out Doctor Foxy, and he's like, oh, I'll do it. She's like, okay, good, and then we're done. And I'm like, so we just did not talk about that. Okay, yeah, like I don't mind that it happens. Some people are like, oh, the Doctor wouldn't do that. The Doctor would do that. Is what I would say.
Yeah,
but I like when you call them out on it, and we don't. That's like another. That's another one of my criticisms. Like I think I mentioned this at Console Room that the end scene, like the end scene of this episode, is so tonally, it's so good, and also so tonally different from the rest of it that it like is a little jarring to me. And I will say, in my opinion, some of it is that it's so good, and whereas the rest of the episode is kind of it's a little wonky. In the pacing, there's some things that come out of left field, or it's just a little odd, is how I would describe. And I guess I'm slightly less forgiving because it still has a lot of constraints and difficulties in making the episode, but I feel like they didn't do as good in like rolling with the punches in this one. I don't know. That's my opinion. Just being a little bit of a hater, but
I tried to like figure out what happened because I remembered like there were like I don't know, rumors or like trying to figure out what was going on, like, oh, they're missing scenes or they had to rewrite something. But like I did write like a lot about like what I found. But yeah, I know Ella Road, the writer, described it as like a kind of mad accelerated process. And Chibnall knew that he wanted like sea devils in a historical nautical setting. And Ella suggested 19th century pirate leader Madame Ching, quick turnaround. And she was in meetings with the CGI team and stuff like before even finishing their first draft. So like I don't know what was going on, but it was real quick. It sounds like really chaotic, but also kind of fun. But yeah, most excited for the Thasmin. And I have a quote from Ella saying, as a queer person myself, it felt like I'd been handed the opportunity to explore something in a way that was quite subtle, actually, and quite delicate. And I think that definitely came through, especially in that last scene. And how, like, once it was, even though Yaz and 13 hadn't talked about it, like, from the beginning there, like, the doctor's demeanor certainly shifted after being called out. And oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the fireworks scene in Eve of the Daleks. I'm trying not to go back to Eve of the Daleks because I have so much to say about it. But she just like, okay, actually I do have to say it because like, when she looks to Yaz, like this is basically the first time Yaz doesn't look back. It's usually Yaz looking to the doctor. But Yaz is just taking in the fireworks and just has like, just seems like so relieved, like she can breathe easy, and she's like just kind of the acceptance and everything with her identity. It's just I could feel it. Like as a queer person, I'm like, I know what that feels like. And that really came through. So more props to Amanda for that. And also for holding on to that gay panic in that underwater date. That was like, it just held on to the gay panic that whole time, just processing, doesn't know what's, not paying attention to anything else, but like keeping up enough for 13 to not be suspicious, but she probably knows. But oh my gosh, that was great. um but yeah, it was really interesting to read about like Madame Ching. And I remember my like opinion on this, on the like more critical element of as a viewer of this episode, like changed a bit. And then I had to like re-research Madame Ching and stuff because I forgot. And I was like, wait, did I think this because of this? I don't know. But I want to, since we talked about classic Sea Devils a bit, I wanted to talk about like the costume design. And kind of like the Centaurans and War of the Centaurans, they kept the classic vibe and like they had some fishing net in reference to the 1970s Sea Devil. And it was really interesting to like, I'd seen the sketches from when I met Ray Holman, the costume designer, of a bunch of the different costumes, but like I'd also read when I was looking through Doctor Who magazine and things like that, like talk about like the barnacles made out of latex and sustainable fish skin for their armor. And I'm just like, I can wear fish skin. That feels weird to me. But I'm just like, it's very interesting to learn about, but I don't like thinking about it if I was will not be cosplaying that. I did see an amazing Sea Devil cosplayer at Galley last year because I dressed as the Corsair from Extended Universe with 13, but there was Legend of the Sea Devils 13 and Sea Devil cosplayer, and I think this Sea Devil was the son of cosplayer playing 13. But like that was an amazing cosplay. I wish I like had a handle or something. I don't think they were really big on social media, but that was amazing, and I got a picture, and I was so happy about that because that took a lot of skill, I'm sure.
That's very cool.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Did we have any other thoughts on Sea Devils? Just because.
Well, they also had a reference to the armor that they had in Warriors of the Deep too. So you had that lead through over the years. But I love some of the again. We had a lot of the good lines, like Madame Ching saying, "I don't understand the words you say."
Yep.
That's 13 going on. And you're not the same as the other land crawlers. Correct. I crawled in from a different land. All these little references I love. But there were some things that just came out of left field, like Madame Ching adopting the villager who was trying to kill her earlier in the episode. Okay. All right. We got to do something with him, I guess.
Well, that does happen. And then also later she marries him in real life.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember something about like an adopted son and like some. I stopped reading when we get to anything.
That's why I don't that in the real
I don't go
episode.
near that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't like to think about it. I don't like to think about that kind of stuff.
But I just want to say that
But
has historical basis for why they did that.
but yeah, absolutely.
And the Doctor having swordplay again.
Yes, I remember
Yes.
Jodie Whittaker was so excited about that in interviews because she was saying how in theater school you learn like stage combat, but then it's only ever really done with the guys in like Shakespeare, which yeah, I've not been able to do combat myself, as a female actress. So that's part of me is like, I'm glad that Jodie Whittaker had fun getting to do a sword fight, even if the pirate episode was not what I wanted it to be. I'm glad that it was a good time.
I have stories about like sword fighting experiences, but then I would be like veering way off from this.
Yes, and we only have 15 minutes left, and I haven't got to talk about Power of the Doctor.
We haven't even got. We're only
That's what
done.
I was gonna segue. I was gonna say we should segue to Power of the Doctor, which I love.
I gotta touch a little bit on the Thasmin though. A little more. Okay, I'll go real quick. The Doctor trying to impress Yaz. Yaz trying to impress the Doctor. The Doctor instantly forgiving her. The Doctor back to dazzling Yaz. 13 keeps Yaz with her. It is all soft. And the 13 confession and the wife mention and the beach and the wishing things would go on forever. And then immediately we go to like a teaser trailer thing saying like nothing is forever. And I'm like, it's another moment where you had to watch it as it was coming out and you were tortured in real time. But oh my gosh, I could go on about how beautiful the Thasmin was in Legends of Evils forever. I have like pages written here, and I will save that for another time.
Yeah, I do love it. And I also liked how in character it was her 13. Like they didn't try to suddenly force her to be super open in a way that wasn't her. It felt very true to the character in that way. And yeah, like she's traumatized, doesn't want to be hurt again. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, girl.
Yeah.
I know this
At the same time, I'm like, that's life. This is how it is for everyone. There's always a risk of pain. Whatever. But yeah, it was great. I really liked it.
Power of the Doctor.
Power of the Sapphics. Okay, sorry, that's what I wrote.
I love it. I love this episode. I think it's very fun. It feels more like a 60th anniversary special than I feel like the 60th hot take. But I also know because it was the BBC Centennial, that's part of why it had almost that like anniversary vibe. I really liked it. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but that's my overall. I was like, this was a good final episode.
Yes. I had a lot of good scenes I really loved, and the fact that there are so many women characters in this story.
Woo!
Yeah.
Women!
Sorry. I love women.
Love women.
And they're feminist and also not as feminist sapphic way. Sorry.
And I don't forget both Tegan and Ace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought
oh my gosh.
that was so nice. So like I've only seen like a handful of Classic Who. I know I need to like go back and I do a lot of binging through things, and I haven't gone through like binging all of Classic Who yet, and I really should.
It's okay, I haven't watched all of it yet either.
What was that?
I haven't watched all of it either. I've watched a little bit of 5, but I've watched almost all of the 7th Doctor's era, so I've seen a lot of Ace.
Okay.
I think too, yeah.
The only ones that I've seen really, with a couple exceptions, are like I think Netflix like years ago had like a compilation like best of Classic Who or something, and there was like a single story of each Doctor. So I've seen a little bit more than that, but like mostly that. So I haven't really gotten to see these characters before, and literally every time I sit down to see like Classic Who, I restart New Who and start binging through it again, which is a problem. But also it's so good. But like it was so nice seeing both of them because I haven't really gotten to see them in like the Classic Who episodes, but I loved their characters in this episode. So I was like, if I need like incentive, I'm just really slow at like following up on it. But like if I need any kind of incentive to see that, like I really do want to see more of their stories because their characters are so cool in this episode. It was really nice seeing them.
They're really cool
with their doctors.
Yes, I loved that. Also very selfishly because the 7th Doctor and Ace are 2 of my favorite. That's like one of my favorite Doctor Who dynamics, period. End of story. I love them.
Have you read it, Childhood's End? Sorry, I get
no, it's on my library.
It's great.
I need to. I need to. But
love it.
Having Ace meet the Doctor again.
It's on my. I will read that eventually and enjoy it. But yeah, no. There's a lot of things I liked about it. I could also yell. I just have to mention it right now. that the master in this story, I know there's a lot of deleted, like, give me the Chibnall cut. There was a lot of deleted scenes with him as Rasputin, but also I kind of love, like, that he basically just did that for the bit. I feel like it's very master. Like, I was, in hindsight, I was like, he didn't really need to do that, but he just, and also the Rasputin scene, the dancing scene was done, like, one shot. They were, like, overshooting, like, overscheduled,
They need to
like, behind
just post
schedule.
it, the whole
At
thing.
least they actually had the Cybermen and the Daleks looking at each other during the dance. Like, what is?
No, it was so good, and I just have to mention that was
Questioning their
taken
life
like
choices.
in like one. That was just like a random thing that happened. That was done in like one shot, basically of Sacha Dhawan just kind of just going hard.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, I really liked it. The master literally like overtaking the doctor's body, like I. Part of me was like, oh my god, this feels like the TV movie reference, in a way. And like one of his last lines being like, "Don't let me go back to being me." What? This is like, it's been like 3.5 years, and I still am like reeling, and I'm like, what does that mean? It means listen to the master's audios in Big Finish because they're really good. Throwing that's my other two things I had to make sure I mention before we finished. Very good, and yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, and it's bonkers, and I wish we had a real body swap episode, but I understand why they didn't, because they couldn't risk having two of their lead actors be in the same scene and infect each other, so I'll forgive them, but I would have died to see that. Okay.
I love looking at that whole thing with the degeneration and like body whatever, like through like a trans lens too. And looking at things through a queer lens is always really fun, but that's like a whole other thing. I'm trying to not go on too long, so I'm gonna power through some of my notes. For the Power of the Sapphics episode, I love that the form the Corax took for 13 was a POC child. 13 opening up to Yaz about the master and like keeping that emotional vulnerability going, only for Yaz to interrupt, or like for them to be interrupted when she's just a little bit of a vulnerable. No, can't have that. We can't have them talking. We got stuff to do. And oh yeah, did 13 teach Yaz how to read Gallifreyan as well as Pilot? I don't know. I was reading the script alongside watching, and this script was the hardest to follow. There were so many like, delete this scene, delete that scene, moved around here, this was moved there. It was chaotic reading the script, I gotta tell you. But the blocking in the seismology lecture scene, I could just go on for like hours. The blocking in that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And after 13 and Yaz meet up with Tegan and Ace and like the old companions,
Yes.
like they added physical distance between 13 and Yaz more and more, to the point where like, the little like teaser photos before we saw the episode, people were going with the evil Yaz theories and stuff again too, because they're standing so far apart and everything is so tense, and the master is bouncing around, he's having a field day, and it's just like 13 and Yaz staring at each other, and like the master is like the devil on her shoulder, and I love it. And the glass case of emotion scene, when I was rewatching it, I was like, wait, doesn't she still have her Sonic? Like, I know she's surrounded by all these like bad guys, so maybe she can't properly escape, but like, couldn't she like break the machine or something? I don't know. Just one of my notes I made. And also,
the glass case of emotion scene.
Oh yeah. When the master has 13, like they're about to do the like body swap, whatever, degeneration, and she's in like a glass case, and I made a gif of it that says in a glass case of emotion. Sorry, that wasn't clear. There's a gif out there.
No, that's why I was like, if I'm wondering, a viewer's wondering, so I'm gonna ask.
It's a meme thing too. There's one with Tenet as well.
Yeah.
With Wilf, yeah.
I've seen that one before.
Yeah, I made a 13 one. Oh my gosh, her last words being Yaz, just calling out to Yaz. That was her dying words. I'm not okay. I'm in a glass case of emotion right now.
You are.
Okay. Yeah, also, like, I mean, I know I talked about like through a queer lens and trans lens and stuff, but also like I still don't totally get it, or maybe I kind of wish like why he didn't keep like 13's body, because like he could have just changed his clothes, like I don't know.
Yeah, and that's
But
another metatextual, like, I also thought they were going to do an actual body swap and have, like, Whittaker Master, and I
yeah,
guess it was because they couldn't have both of the
it'll be
characters, like,
yeah.
it was, like, basically as another way to keep lower the risk factor of not having several, because if they both got
Yeah.
infected and they had to, it would just, like, they wouldn't be able
Yeah,
to film an
yeah.
episode.
Oh my gosh, the trauma. Poor Yaz. That would be so, like even more traumatic. Someone made fan art of it. Of
Of what?
them like yelling, like the master yelling at Yaz, like
Yes!
noses touching that, but like with Whittaker Master.
Oh
There's
my
fan
god.
art out there. I forget who
That
made it, but I
scene,
remember it.
that
It's
was
in my
another
brain.
one of those scenes that I was like, what is there's so much to unpack here. I love it. I love it. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of good stuff to chew on in this episode. Good food.
So
Good soup.
so many screenshots here of the script, and I was just freaking out. My doctor saying my doctor, yeah, saying my doctor. Ah,
That's
I
really
wish
cute.
that she was in focus. I've been noticing more and more like in any media I watch, like when their eyes aren't in focus, and it bothers me so much, but it's fine. It was like a really good performance. That's always priority. I love that the TARDIS like drew a line at the master insulting Yaz's pilot notes. Like that's what it seemed like to me when the TARDIS like sparked him. um and then uh oh my gosh, the doctorification of Yaz. I could write essays. I could write so much.
They tied that with a nice little bow. That was well done. It was a nice arc.
Yeah. Oh, the symbolism of the barrier between them. Lovers' meeting point, they're at a barrier. The glass barrier. When Yaz was in a Spyfall, glass barrier. The hands touching. I could go on.
Amber, you
And then
looked like you were about to say something.
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's not on Thasman specifically. So I didn't want to like interrupt.
Go
Sorry, I
ahead.
just
I can
thought
talk about
open
that
mouth.
one anytime. Don't worry about it.
No. No, I think the one thing, because there's a lot of really good moments in Power of the Doctor. I think the downside to me is I think that there again was probably too much stuff still
That's
happening. Like there's a lot, and they're bringing in more characters again that we haven't seen in a bit. There's a lot happening. And I think that that's, consistently kind of one of my challenges with just I kind of wish they would scale back a little bit. But like overall, it's maybe chaotic fun, but still fun. So
I did love the Guardians of the Edge. We've got the different versions of the Doctor. One doesn't like robes. Well, that's it. And all the other ones in robes. That whole scene with just having all those doctors, but I'm still trying to figure out the symbolism of the telegraph pole. Why there? But that was the Edge.
yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
yeah. Can we, because I know we're like really short on time, can we jump into the big thing at the end?
Companion support group? Or
Oh,
the
no,
Thousand Goodbye.
but that's a nice
it.
moment though. The support group's nice.
Yes. Okay. 13 telling the TARDIS to look after the next one, and then it cutting to Ace and Tegan looking after Yaz. Cinema. I love that.
I also really enjoy how they tied the arc of the. Wait, no, was it this? No, it wasn't this episode, was it? That had the fob watch go into the TARDIS. That was like at the end of Flux, right? Am I totally just migraine braining? Okay, that's fine. Well, it was good when it happened. I mentioned it again here.
Still good.
Oops.
But the support group and who wasn't there, and basically poor Ian going, "Oh, pardon me, she?"
Yeah, that was so sweet, and that was really sweet, because that was like that he got, like, there was some sort of like record for longest like amount of time that playing the same character, like the biggest like gap, or basically at this age versus this age. I know that was some sort of record broken.
Yeah. But I thought that having the support group was such like it's one of the things we don't get to like dig into too much in Doctor Who, because we're so like in the stuff with the Doctor traveling around, but like the people left behind, like it comes up sometimes. Like again, I haven't seen like a ton of Classic Who episodes, but like in New Who, it comes up sometimes when we see like Jackie, Rose's mom.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like checking back in. She's like, I don't know where she is. Hopefully she's okay. And like you see it sometimes, but you don't see it all that often. But I thought having the support group was like you all have been through some stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Don't have anybody else to talk to about it.
Right. Well, and nobody's everybody else is gonna think you're crazy because they're like, you weren't traveling through time. And it's okay. You didn't do anything in the 1700s or 6 billion years in the future or whatever. Like, obviously you need to like nobody else is gonna believe them. So seeing all the people like come together, like that's so and I just like, as somebody who's like, one of the reasons I love conventions is like for community. Like obviously we haven't been through the same things as the companions, but seeing people who have had who have shared experiences coming together, I think is always so like heartwarming to be there for each other. So I think from like a fan perspective too, like that's just like a really
it was really sweet.
Yeah.
And also just a logistically good idea.
Right.
Yeah. And it's 13's like she got all of her companions like home alive. That was such an accomplishment for a doctor, especially in New Who, I feel like. But also the nice little detail of like the doctor, or maybe the TARDIS, whoever, like making sure Yaz wasn't alone when she was dropped off. Especially with like the mental health history, all the post-it notes, and like Dan and Graham coming. And now Yaz is never going to be alone again because of the companion support group. Like she has this whole huge family on Earth. And then I know we have to talk about it. The ice cream date, like looking at the Earth and their like
that was really cute
goodbye conversation. And I asked someone if I could quote them in the panel because they word it so well and I get too emotional. But like I know like Thasmin like being canon, but also like they didn't kiss or anything, and that is like a whole conversation. Like I liked it, but this quote's like 13 not kissing Yaz because it would hurt them both even more in the end. Yaz accepting 13 wants to be alone and asking her not to say goodbye because she knows she doesn't like goodbyes and wants her to go in peace. And this is the most pure and heartbreaking, selfless kind of love. And there's a lot of different ways to interpret it too. Like Yaz already had to watch 13, in that glass box and everything with the master. And like, she's already been traumatized by that. And like, there's so many different ways to look at it. And it's explored beautifully in like fanfics and everything, I'm sure. But I just think that's like a really beautiful way to look at it as well.
I think
she's now doing more Mandip and Jodie Whittaker audios.
Oh, yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Can we talk really briefly about the regeneration?
Beautiful.
Do we have to?
Sunrise. The sunrise. Okay, the sunrise regeneration, I love that.
No, it was beautifully shot and really well edited. Yes. Yeah. I didn't love that being people on Twitter were correct, and also now I'm deleted Twitter, so that's one benefit. But now I'm just like, okay, any Doctor Who rumor could be true going forward. Who knows at this point? But
yeah, that got spoiled for me a bit because of that. Like, it was like on iTunes, the little thumbnail or something. I don't know.
Really?
Of like her regenerating, and I was like, nah. I was like, I don't care about all rumors and stuff, whether they're true or not. I'm like, excuse me. I'm just like, no, save it for Reddit. I don't care. But yeah, I think the sunrise thing was really beautiful. I know Kelly Rosen really liked it. But yeah, I wish that the strong opinions about the outfit thing, but like the David Tennant part, I wish that 14 was like in like a teaser clip that followed it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I wish that was like a little different, but I don't know. I don't make those decisions.
I do like the last line.
Because it was originally like potentially the end of the show, just going out, with that regeneration, all the hope and acceptance and love and everything. And I thought that was really beautiful.
But, Katherine, what were you saying?
I did like her last line. Tag, you're it.
Yeah, which actually she had mentioned at Gallifrey 1 2023, which is the one that I've been to, that really complimentary of the editors, because that actually originally wasn't the last line, but then in the editing, that was like a decision.
She had much
that's just a fun
longer
fact.
for then. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was edited down, but she really loved how it turned out. And I agree. No, I love her speech. I love that it wasn't too, like, it still felt very true to her character, because I think as a queer woman, I would have loved the representation of having a kiss or like a hug or something. I felt like it was a little underwhelming, but also for 13, I feel like a kiss, depending on how it was done, could be viewed as out of character and like too overly affectionate. But also the representation as a queer woman, like, oh, that would be nice. Yeah. I mean, I didn't love the optics of the first female doctor and the first black male doctor being interrupted by a white boy again, but I'll say that's basically the very like concentrated essence of my criticism, in my opinion.
That's fair though. I think like I honestly like some of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who are the final ones with the Doctor. Only because I really love when I love when we're like getting kind of deep in our like feelings a bit. We don't always do that. But like every single time I feel like the Doctor is like the way the Doctor is kind of saying goodbye to their character, like it hits so hard, because I'm like, yeah, like that's all of us. And like I'm never ready. I am never ready to say ever. I literally don't think I've had a single one of these and been like, finally, good, we're moving on. Like I am never ready to say goodbye to that Doctor. Which is I think part of why like the first episodes are always like really hard for me too, because I'm like, I wasn't ready to say goodbye. Now we have to say hello to somebody new. Then I eventually come around and then I love it. But so I'm never like ready for that. And Tennant is like my favorite Doctor. And I still, because I think we knew before this episode came in that Ncuti was going to be the next Doctor. I'm pretty sure they'd already announced that.
They had.
So I was like, but I think I remember hearing like rumors that Tennant was supposed to be showing back up, and I was like, please, like,
I mentioned that way beforehand.
That he was. No, I thought it was rumors. I didn't think it was like a.
No, it was not confirmed.
Magazine. It was on the cover of Doctor Who magazine. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's after the regeneration story. It was not before her final episode had come out. That was a secret. I know that for a fact.
It being like rumors, like people were like, I don't know. I heard that he was supposed to be back as the Doctor, and I was like,
it was rumored, and it was a lot of very bigoted men rumoring it online, and that's why I was really upset that it was true.
So I was kind of like, so I was a little bit like, and he is my favorite Doctor, and I still was just kind of like, I'm ready for Ncuti though. Like, well, I'm not really ready because I'm never ready to say goodbye to a Doctor.
Yeah,
but, like, this will be exciting. And I was a little disappointed. I want to caveat that with, I really actually love the 3 episodes that Tennant was the 14th Doctor, and they are my favorite more recent episodes. There's always some like good episodes. I love a lot of Ncuti's episodes too. I really love those 3. So like caveat, I ended up happy personally in the end. Generally, but I was kind of like it felt a little bit like
interesting choice.
Are we maybe taking a little bit of a step back by not taking a step forward with Ncuti immediately? And I get that I think there was some filming issues or something.
That was a decent part of it.
Yeah. And the stories were great. Like I loved the stories. But yeah, I was kind of like I'm already not ready to say goodbye. Now I really don't know. I kind of wish you hadn't brought back. And it's one of the things too where I was like, I don't want you to like ruin my good opinions of the 10th Doctor either, because I really loved his Doctor era. Are we jumping the shark? Is it jumping the shark a little bit here, bringing him back? Too. So I had kind of like it was a lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah, very fair.
Interesting way to end it.
Definitely. Good way to word it.
Okay. It was nice that we actually got the whole Donna thing resolved, but I just didn't like the idea of him going back.
I have mixed feelings about that too.
Yeah.
That's a whole other panel.
That's a whole other panel and
whole other season.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have more panels next year, because I just love talking about this stuff. I'm like,
13,
we already have this bonus panel, like, and I want another one already.
Yeah.
We haven't even really gotten to expanded universe.
Basically, they're good, and I'm eating well as a Chibnall-Era fan, is what I will say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've already like gone over time, so I want to say thank you everyone for joining us today, or like watching, since we're recording this. And this panel is basically for everything we ran out of time to talk about in our series 11 through 13 panels, which should still be available to watch on YouTube. If you want more, if you want to, know more about stuff we've talked about here, or about stuff we didn't have time to get to yet again, I'm always happy to chat about like Phasma 13, the new Big Finish audios, like whatever. You can reach out to us on socials. And yeah, we'll go around one more time to share socials and any final messages as well. But yeah, okay. So I also want to add, like, unfortunately, I'm not going to be at Galley this year. But I have like Thasmin's server, and I'm having a whole lot of fun, like working on a Flux inspired choose your own story adventure that's like somewhat collaborative. I am like, I love working on like projects with other fans. So feel free to reach out if you're interested in that as well. And you can find like all my socials basically at She Regenerated 13. I also have a link tree. So that's linktr.ee She Regenerated 13. Right. And Amber?
Yeah. I'm also not going to be at Galley this year. Sorry, y'all. I was there last year. I've been a few times. I'll be there again before it disappears. That's the plan. But I am online. You can find me at Raden Studios, Raden Studios plural. On like Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, the console room Discord. I'm in there as well. Happy to talk about all these things. And it is like we brought up a couple like other medias where the 13th Doctor episode or stories have shown up. And I just, as somebody who's read some of the, I haven't read all the comics yet, but I've read some of the comics. And the comics that I read, I feel like very, very much capture the vibe that you get on like TV. So if you love like 13th Doctor like TV episodes, like this, I had this one next to me. This one is like peak 13th Doctor, same kind of vibes. Which one is this? A New Beginning. Jodie Hauser wrote it.
I struggled with the art style a little bit, but
oh yeah.
Sometimes people try too hard to look just like the pictures of actors, and I'm like, this is just interesting.
Sure. But, yeah. Well, I
good to know. Maybe I'll push through it.
Yeah. The story has a lot of like, if you like the vibes of like 13th Doctor stories, it like nails it.
Okay.
So
I'll try again.
I think that's probably the case across a lot of the different kind of mediums, but just vouching for the comic space. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed all the rest of our discussions as well. There's clearly so much more to talk about on 13th Doctor and Chibnall-Era Who. And we'll see you around. Katherine Sullivan.
I'm at KatherineSullivan.com. I'll be at Galley. And I'm listening to the Mandip and Jodie audios from coming off the finish. So it's been really fun listening to those. And Katherine?
You can message me. I'm on Silvermoon442, specifically on Discord and Tumblr is where I will love to talk about My Wife, My Life, the 13th Doctor, or Dewan Master especially. And for audios, I would say shout out to the third audio for like kind of everybody. I think for the 13 Yaz audios, that one is lots about like Doctor Companion conflict, lots of meat. The Masters audio is really good. I would say the third episode, especially of the second season, like phenomenal. One of the best Big Finish audios I've listened to, period. And also I have to shout out Fugitive, especially after this con. The Baba Yaga story, really fun, really creative, really good. So those are my recommendations. If you're like, I don't want to buy the whole thing, jump into those ones. There you go.
Yeah. And Big Finish will sometimes like have discounts or like free stories.
There is a Humble Bundle deal that will be going on through like half of February whenever this comes out.
Yes, Humble Bundle is good to subscribe to because they'll just Like you can get like
Really
hundreds
deals.
of dollars of Big Finish stuff for like $20 or something.
$18 is the minimum this time, so that's why I
Yeah.
mentioned it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's really the way to go. Yeah, I actually like started cosplaying the Sixth Corsair because of the comics. I think the Old Friends comics from Jody Houser as well. So I really love that one. The comic with Martha has a great like oh, I had it as the background, like biological sex is flexible among my people and gender is merely a social construct. I was like, yes, this is background for all my socials now. Um, but yeah, there's like all these great comics and everything. And I've read like I stopped counting after 80 of the books and
Wow. I'm not good enough at reading real books. I'm trying
That's
real
fair.
hard.
That's fair.
I'm
I
getting
love the
better.
audiobooks. There was one, Combat Magics, which was narrated by Amanda, and the first five minutes is just her talking about how gorgeous she is. So they're really entertaining.
Amazing.
But yeah, love chatting about all those things. I'm on Discord all the time. So yeah, if you want to any more Doctor Who stuff, reach out to us. We love talking about it, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
And hope to see you at Console Room 2027.
Wow.
Thanks.
Bye.